Today.
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm excited to talk some Star Wars, in particular the type of content that I like doing, which is talking about how Star Wars relates to life and the things that we can learn to live a more full and happy life. And I know that that's the type of stuff you like talking about too.
Yes.
Absolutely. So we've got some topics specifically that are some quotes from Star Wars that you've dug up, did a good job of finding, and I know we're gonna I like doing, which is talking about how. Oh, I just got an echo there for a second. And though that's what we're going to discuss is just the things that you brought up, uh, and that's where we're going to go. I will address the comments right now. We are going to specifically have some topics that we're going to discuss right now. If any comments relate to those quotes in particular, I will address those at the time. Otherwise, any questions, we will wait till we get done with this segment, and at the end, we'll have kind of a Q&A where you can ask questions, and we'll go back into chat. So that's what we're going to do. So, what's the first quote that you wanted to discuss?
Uh, well, Obi-Wan told Luke, your eyes can deceive you. Don't trust them.
And what does that mean to you in particular?
Well, we are visual beings. So in other words, that we're stuck in a logical society. So whatever we see, we must believe. But seeing is believing. In other words, that if we see something like a on TV, most likely whatever we see on TV, it could be anything. We're gonna believe it. So if we saw a let's say if we saw Star Wars on TV, most likely most people are going to know that you can't use the Force to carry something across the.
Hey, speak for
Um,
yourself.
most likely, I mean, most people, especially those that don't believe in Star Wars, can't see it. But for us that do believe in Star Wars, we want that to happen.
Yep.
You know, seeing is believing. So that is part of what most likely it is. There are others like us who are, big believers in Star Wars. Actually, we want it. We will actually believe in that as much as we can. It is in our universe. That's pretty much our reality. So we just take ourselves out of the reality that we're in, and we put ourselves in Star Wars reality.
Yeah,
We
and
make that our reality.
I think living within a different reality is healthy to a certain extent because you're able to escape, everything that's harsh around your own lives, which I think is really really cool. As far as that quote to me, it kind of means following your gut. Just kind of sometimes you see something and it just doesn't seem right. It seems too good to be true, or you rely too much on your senses and not on your past experiences. And I think sometimes you just have to say, hey, I've been in this type of situation before. I'm going to follow my gut because it either worked well in the past or worked really crappy in the past. And I'm going to try to take what my life experiences has told me and try to make the best decision possible. And I think that works in both ways. That works with failure, which I know we're going to talk about failure here in just a little bit. With failure, sometimes we forget to take into consideration the failure we've had in the past, and we continue to make the same exact mistakes, and then we wonder, hey, why didn't that work this time? Well, it didn't work the 10 times before you tried it either. Maybe you should try something different.
Yes, indeed, it is. That's exactly what it is.
What other quotes you got?
Actually, what you just announced just now, failure. So on Dagobah, Yoda was training Luke. So when Luke told him, "All right, I'll give it a try," Yoda specifically said, "No, try not do or do not. There is a no try." So in other words, it's about allowing. You must allow yourself to fail in order for you to succeed at what you're trying to succeed at.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. So, um, as an introvert, one thing that I find is that I try to stick with things that I'm very comfortable with. And sometimes, like even with the YouTube channel, a lot of the reason why I started it was it's kind of a therapy. It was something I wasn't good at, especially doing this live type stuff, man, it was, ums and ahs every other second. I mean, it was just horrible. But I decided that I was going to rough it out and I was going to make myself uncomfortable until I got to the point where I was comfortable with it. And I think to me, a lot of that, as far as the do or do not, there is no try, is that it's not. I think sometimes I listen to that quote and I'm like, Yoda, you're wrong because you do have to try, but it's the fact that you have to try again, 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 and again until you get it. I think that's what Yoda was really trying to express to
Exactly.
Luke.
Exactly. You must allow yourself to do it. You must allow the results to be whatever they are. 'Cause if you allow yourself to succeed the first try, you will always succeed a second try,
Yeah,
or succeed again and again and again. Because you do not. Most people limit themselves to their belief, and they limit themselves to self judgment. But if you fail and you believe that you will succeed,
yep.
and you can do it over and over again.
Yep, you just got to keep working and working and working at it. Oh, Alexander, we discussed earlier. We will specifically we're talking about topics of Star Wars quotes right now and what they mean in life. At the end, I will look into the chat on any other questions and we'll address those. What's the next quote you got?
Oh, the next call. This one's actually a good one. Now, I discussed this with you before, and this one is about fear. So let me go back to my quote. Let's remember this one. I believe. Give me 1 second because I had wrote it down on the list, and I forgot where I
Oh,
put it.
it's all good.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was writing everything. I wrote everything down. I forgot where I put it. Well, actually, there's this one. Your eyes can deceive you. Don't trust them. Actually,
Okay, your eyes can deceive you. Don't trust them.
yes.
And what does that mean to you?
Actually, we did that one.
Oh,
Actually,
you
I'm
did. Oh,
sorry.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was just gonna say. Yeah, we just did that one.
Yeah, we did that one. I'm sorry. You see, this paper's it's got mumble jumble on it. It's got everything written down from today, tomorrow. All our streams, I have everything written down on one sheet of paper right now.
Yeah. So speaking of, I want to go back on that last topic here just for a second. So we tried to do this. What was it? A couple days ago, and it was a failure because I thought I had the audio. I thought I had everything down on it. We tried a format and it didn't work out. And here we are back. We've gotten the audio figured out, and it was a failure. And what I learned from it that allowed us to get the audio, which hopefully sounds really good right now.
And
Uh,
this is where the paper that I have now actually has some stuff from the other day and the day before that as well, which is why I'm having a hard problem because they're all in sideways. Some of it's on the other page, on the other side, and then I put some stuff between other stuff. This is a whole paper that's all messed up and everything.
so disorganized a little bit,
Yeah,
which
it's very disorganized because I have stuff between our other quotes and other stuff I was talking about. So I'm looking for the part. Okay, I should have figured this quote out a long time ago. Okay,
okay.
fear is the path to the dark side. I don't know how I forgot that one.
It is so fear and what okay, first of all, what does that mean to you specifically?
Well, I I fear certain things. I have certain illnesses, and like today, this morning, I was hallucinating. So I myself was afraid to go back to sleep. So what I did exactly at 4 o'clock in the morning, I pretty much woke a few people up in the house because I was walking around. Went to the second floor and I came down, made my coffee. So I was making noise in the kitchen. I was making noise going up and down the stairs. Couldn't go back to sleep. And what I actually feared was the hallucinations. I have nightmares.
Hmm.
I hear voices. So to me, it was the fear of going back to sleep and entering back into the nightmares, waking up again into those hallucinations. I pretty much fear many things. My mom just died, so I fear death.
Hmm.
You shouldn't fear death because death is just back into a world that was created by God. But I don't want to talk about that topic either.
Sure.
But you shouldn't fear anything because fear is just the next. the next journey that you have to enter. So that's just what I believe in,
You know,
and everybody has their own belief.
no, I totally get that. Fear is something that's important because fear is a part of anxiety, and it keeps us from going up and trying to pet a lion, or doing something really stupid that could get us hurt or killed. So fear is
Exactly.
important, but being able to rationally look at that fear and take I mean, you're always going to have emotions. I mean, fear is an emotion, so there's going to be some of that there. But if you could
Yeah.
break it down and see what's real there, um, I have a fear of needles. I hate getting my blood drawn, stuff like that. And I've gotten better about it because I've been able to talk myself through the just the okay, this is something that's necessary if I'm going to be a healthy human being. There's nothing is happening to me physically that's going to have a negative consequence. And really, I realized it's like my biggest fear about needles is having to explain to the nurse, hey, I really hate this, and you're gonna have to let me sit here for a couple minutes afterwards because I want to make sure I don't faint from it. And a lot of my fear of it is the fear of the fear. Um, and I think that fear when it's left uncontrolled can keep us from doing things we really want to and can make us do things that we don't want to. So it's important to be able to put it into context in life, and I think that's really kind of important. Uh, let's see. Somebody did have something in here that's kind of relative. Many similarities between do what must be done and there is no try. And I agree. I mean, you have to do what needs to be done to get where you're going. Like right now, I'm trying to get myself in a position to buy my own restaurant. And I said something to somebody yesterday, and I said, if this works out, he's like, no, when it works out. And that's as far as the do or do not, uh, uh, there is no try. I'm going to own a restaurant. That's going to happen. And I have to stop thinking in terms of I'm going to try to own a restaurant. No, I am going to own a restaurant. And that's where it's kind of
Exactly.
relative to me. Uh,
If you believe it, it can happen. That's what it is.
oh, I totally, absolutely agree on that. And I know it's within my realm of reality. It's not, me wanting to be a best-selling author is a pipe dream. Me wanting to own a restaurant is a realistic thing that I will accomplish. And
Hmm.
I think that's, not to get off a topic. I think that's one of the problems that I've always had is that I struggle with trying to set unrealistic expectations that I'm not willing to put the work into to make it work. Uh,
And that's what I said a little while ago, is that we limit ourselves to our beliefs, and we limit ourselves to our self judgment. Don't judge yourself to what you think you can do. Judge yourself on what you want to do, and don't limit yourself to how far you can reach. Think you can reach farther. Make yourself reach farther, and you can do it.
Yeah, but you have to decide what things are worth putting the effort into to reach farther. Because I know one thing with myself, and I try to get my hands into too many things, and then I don't really end up with any kind of focus. I don't focus on anything and getting it done. Oh, hey, Julian's on there. He said that this says that the sound apparently sounds good, so that's awesome to hear. What's up, Julian? Happy Thanksgiving up there. Uh, so, do you have another quote for me?
I do have another quote. Control, control, you must learn control. This was Yoda speaking to Luke when he was trying to use the Force.
And what does that mean to you?
Well, that was a little bit more complicated, but this, to me, uh, I suffer from emotional depression. I also suffer from bipolar. For me, most people that suffer from bipolar, it is easier for us. and I don't know if other people understand this part, but we argue with those that are closer to us. So when it comes to family members, we usually use them as punching bags. And it's
Okay.
hard to say it like that, but we usually argue with them more than we argue with people on the streets or argue with friends. It is also an emotional depression because when we do that, we're always saying sorry to them, but we will not say sorry to people on the streets because we usually don't argue with them.
Well, because
Um,
there's no relationship that's important there with the people on the street, but there is,
exactly.
with the ones that you're close to. So you feel like, as far as control, you don't feel like you have control over doing that, but at the same time, then you beat yourself up because, emotionally, you don't want to do that.
Exactly.
You know, and I think, finding control, is and focus. To me, it means focus, and I think that's where it comes down to. I got to focus things in my life because I constantly run around trying to find dopamine hits, which is just getting excited about these far fetched dreams, and not really focusing on the issue at hand, which is just making things happen in the moment. What? So now, as far as you and that quote and control, what are the things that you try to work on to better that situation?
Well, as of right now, I was going to the doctor, but because I don't have insurance right now, I don't. But as in the household myself, I have learned to cook. So what I do is I independently cook in the kitchen without nobody's help. And if somebody does want the help, we give ourselves our space where we do it together. We talk together in the kitchen. We cook together in the kitchen. There are times that we go upstairs and we hang out with each other, me and my nephew. But I have used them, and I like punch bag. It's just like I say use them, but uh, it's what it is, an argument, and I had to apologize. But at the same time, I know it's wrong, so a lot of times that I get in an argument, I can cut it off real quick. And the way to cut it off is you have to realize that your argument is not going to go nowhere. So the moment you feel like or know that it's an argument, you cut it off and let the other person win. Make yourself know that um, in the argument there is no reason for an argument. So cut it off real quick and make the other person let the other person win the argument. And that's how I, gain the control of my, situation. And it's not control of winning the situation; it's the control of bipolar part.
Well, is a lot of it is acknowledging what's going on in your
Yes,
mind at that time, and then maybe surrendering to it a little bit, and then just doing what you
yes,
need to
pretty
do.
much.
And I deal with that too. So a couple nights ago, what was it, Thursday night? As I as I was trying to fall asleep, I really had trouble falling asleep. Uh, in my mind, um, I was thinking in terms of, you know this YouTube thing isn't going anywhere. I'm never gonna be able to be good enough at it. I'm not a good enough gamer to do the gaming part of it. Like all these negative thoughts, and where I took control of it was I realized that all of that was me being way too tired and I just needed to find a way of falling asleep. It was my depression talking, it wasn't the real me. In that I knew that when I woke up in the next morning, that I would feel better and I would be in better position to actually think things through. And that's exactly what I did. In the past, I've given up on a lot of things that were worthwhile for me to do because I let the depressed slash tired version of me make decisions. And it was just acknowledging, hey, this is my mental illness talking right now. It's not the real version of myself, and I can't let this version of myself right this second make decisions for me. And that, as far as control and focus, I think that's where I've really become a better person. It's really improved my life. Oh, we got deep there, but that's a lot of what this show is going to be about. Is going to be getting deep into the Star Wars thing and how it relates to our lives. And I think those are the fun conversations for us to have. Any more quotes? Did we lose Amadeus for a second?
I have one. This one might
Okay.
be as deep as the next one, as the last one.
Okay.
Why we should confront our challenges.
Okay.
So for me, why we should confront our challenges is just like we discussed in the last one. My trying to control my fear or and trying to control my bipolar and emotional depression. It's hard to confront what you have done to others,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's arguing with them, whether it's um, for people who have been in a domestic violence situation.
Sure.
Um, for me, it is hard to confront the fact that I have argued with my mother so much in the past. My mom has passed away in April of this year,
Sorry to hear that.
and it's okay. Uh, but I am, I'm glad that she is no longer suffering because she suffered a lot for 10 years. But it's hard to confront the fact that I cannot say sorry to her for what I have argued with her for almost 13 or 14 years. It's also, upsetting that I cannot see her again because I have her phone now and I read so many things that she has posted because I barely was on Facebook. But it's upsetting to know that she's always said she's loved me. She's always said that so many things you may have done so many things, but I want you to know that you're still my son. I love you as a son. And to confront her now that she's gone, I can't do that. But confronting is like what you asked, like you corrected me, not really a correcting, but you you said the word surrendering.
Yep.
You surrender when you say sorry. You surrender when you surrender to yourself when you let the other person win.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, I lost that battle with my mom because she's no longer here. I cannot say sorry. I can only say sorry to her as she's no longer here when she's with whoever she's with now. And it's to me it's no use. I do blame my mom. I mean, not my mom. I do blame myself for my mom's death because I know all that arguing I did when she was here was her depression and her stress for what I've done. So
And guilt's only a good emotion in so much as what it means for your future, not what it means as far as your thinking on the things that happened in the past. So when you feel guilty, you have to say, okay, what about this is something that I can use in my relationships going forward to make sure that I don't feel guilty about um, in the future about what I did to them too. And I think that's where guilt really comes into play. But when you allow, it's guilt's tough. Guilt is a tough emotion to deal with,
it
um,
is.
and it's not an easy. It's not as simple as just saying I'm not going to feel guilty about this anymore. It wasn't my fault or any of that stuff. It's something you have to go through, and you have to try to make amends with it with the other people in your life. I think that makes sense at all.
It makes perfect sense.
Um, you know, Kind of getting back to Star Wars for just a second, I think the Obi-Wan Kenobi series is going to be about guilt that Anakin had with or guilt that of Obi-Wan allowing in his mind Anakin to fall to the dark side. I think he's going to really put a lot of that on himself, and I think it's going to be his journey towards getting to the sage, to the wise Jedi that we see in A New Hope, or even in the episode of Rebels where he seemed like he was at peace. I don't. I think we're going to see a different version of Obi Wan that isn't at peace yet, and blames himself for Anakin falling to the dark side. And how he gets through that, I think, is going to be something that a lot of people that feel guilty about things in their past are really going to be able to latch onto and relate to. And I, I personally think that's where that Obi Wan series is going to kind of go. Uh, you got anything else for me?
I don't have nothing else, but I wanted to go back to a quote that we discussed. I think in the middle of the show.
Sure.
Um, Fear the dark side. I want to talk about how Yoda actually feared the dark side.
Okay.
Um, Yoda admitted to being consumed by the dark side and himself feeling fear during the Clone Wars, actually.
Hmm.
He also talked about fear in episode one. He talked to Anakin Skywalker when he was dropped off by Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. He told Anakin, fear is a path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. And he said to him, I sense much fear in you. Uh, what does that mean to you, actually? How do you, interpret that?
I think, well, and when they were talking about, I think they're, specifically Yoda was talking about his fear of, or when it comes to losing something that you have. And I know that one thing that's Yoda hadn't let go of yet was Dooku. He hadn't let go of Dooku as a student. He hadn't accepted that Dooku had fallen to the dark side. He hadn't gotten rid of the anger and the guilt of Dooku falling. And ultimately, he had to do that to become the true Jedi that he needed to be able to become a Force ghost. Um, in life, letting go of fear um, is I think is important. Not being angry about things, but focusing on the things that you have control over. Um, I think as far as that overall quote, I think that you just have all these emotions that if you let them simmer there too much, they lead to a more stronger emotion, and then an even stronger emotion. And if you don't do anything about it, you end up getting to the point where you blow up and you don't have any more control over yourself. And I think that's the dark side. The dark side is being having these emotions that are so strong that they almost fuel you. They give you this high in some ways, but they're not productive, and you don't have any control. And I guess that's kind of, I don't know if I was rambling a little bit too much there, but that's kind of where that leads me thinking in life.
Okay. Did you watch Rebels?
Yes.
So did you remember when Ezra met Yoda?
Yes, but not clearly.
So Yoda told Ezra at one point that Padawan, thousands of Jedi once there were. Then came war, and our arrogance joined the conflict swiftly we did. Fear, anger, hate, consumed by the dark side the Jedi were. A long time fought I did, consumed by fear I was. Though see it, I did not. He was pretty much telling Ezra that I did fear something was happening during the war, and that was that the dark side of the Force clouded the Jedi Council and their efforts during the war. He pretty much was talking to Ezra about Palpatine, that he sensed something in the dark side, and that, but he never told nobody about it. And the only other person that sensed it was Mace Windu, because
Yep.
Mace Windu tapped into the Force, into the dark side of the Force, and Yoda knew it, but Yoda never said nothing about it. The only other person that was as strong as Yoda in the Force was Mace Windu
Yep.
during that part, and then second to Mace Windu was Anakin.
Hmm. And Anakin
Um,
had more force potential, but he wasn't as
yes,
strong in the force at that moment.
and that was another reason why they never made Anakin master, because they were afraid. Um, Besides that, Luke Skywalker always said it. Much in the Rise of Skywalker, that was pretty much in the Rise of Skywalker in that movie. Confronting fear is the destiny of a Jedi. So we all know at that point is that um, even Yoda suffered from fear.
Well, and I think that in the right before the Jedi fell, instead of confronting fear, they just ignored the fear. The things that they were fearful of, they're like, let's just put this over to the side and focus on other things. And it was part of the reason why the Jedi Order fell, is because they didn't confront those things. They didn't confront the dark side. I think that they just wanted to believe that, these feelings that they had that the dark side was growing again, that maybe they were wrong.
I can go with that too.
Yeah, there's a lot. We should get into not today, but like talk about this a little bit later. why the Jedi Order fell and what we can learn about that, because I think that is a fascinating subject, because
I do too.
there's a lot of reasons why the Jedi Order fell, and I think that we as a species, as humans, can learn a lot from it.
Yes.
But I think we got a perfect episode today. I think that's just about. Unless if you have any other quotes that you want to hit up.
Uh, I do not have any quotes to hit up from Star Wars, but there is a quote from Fear of the Walking Dead. It also has a it could also does with fear here.
Okay.
People do not do fear um because of fear or because of evil. We do fear, and the cat is just staring at me right now. You know what? I'm she's evil. I'm just telling you, she's evil,
All cats are evil.
and
It's all good.
this is and she's scaring me. So you know what? I'm just gonna stop right there because the more if I turn my face off her, she's gonna scratch me. So you know what? I'm just gonna let her. I just gotta
Okay.
keep my eyes on her.
All right. All right. Uh, no, I think perfect timing on the episode. Half an hour, I think, is perfect. We do have if you go to the link, jamesclark14.live/merch. I do have some Order 77 merchandise there.
Oh, get
Or
away! Ow!
the cat get you.
No, yes, she did. She just jumped right.
I also have this a link to on Amazon to this cool samurai zombie mall figure. Go down there, check that out, just kind of see what it's about. There's a link to that in the description below. Other than that, I think for from Order 77, we got James and Amadeus. Everybody have a great day, and may